वेलकम डॉक्टर साहब।
गुड
नमस्कार।
इवनिंग गुड इवनिंग सर।
कैसे हैं आप?
बस ठीक ठाक। आप कैसे हैं?
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत दिनों बाद आपको देख रहे हैं।
थैंक यू।
Sir, it's six. Shall we start?
Yes, sir, you can start, sir, because right now it's 6 p.m.
ओके।
only.
अक्षय अक्षय सर प्लीज सेशन स्टार्ट करिए।
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. Before we dive into today's knowledge fest, let's rewind to the power packed session we had yesterday. In session 1, Dr. Vibhuti Tripathi took us on a thrilling ride through digital transformation and customer service excellence. She reminded us that in today's world, digital is not just the future, it is the present. For smarter systems and seamless service, she showed us how businesses that embrace technology deliver not just speed but amazing experience for their customers. Then in session 2, where Mr. Ashish Mishra turned the spotlight to the role of AI, machine learning, and chatbots in customer service. And what a session that was. He opened our eyes to a futuristic things where machines don't just respond, they predict, personalize, and perform with lightning speed. Whether it is what customer want even before they ask, or chatbots that never sleeps. He showed us that customer service is no longer about solving problems, it is about creating unforgettable experiences. But now, let's get ready to meet someone who has mastered the art of blending corporate sharpness, academic brilliance, and global leadership into one powerful personality. We are talking about none other than Dr. Mohammed Anam Akhtar Sir, an MBA and PhD from NIT and certified management and business educator currently steering the ship as head of business education at University of Southampton, Delhi. Dr. Anam's story goes way beyond his designation. For over 6 years, he made waves in Dubai at the Institute of Management Technology IMT as assistant professor, program chair of BBA, and a mentor who pushed students beyond classroom into the real world of business. From presentations to performance, he has been driving force behind innovation and excellence in management education. He has been in corporate innings at Cipla, where he proved his mettle as business manager, handling teams and strategies with equal passion and precision. His research on IFRS convergence, financial behavior, and digital payment has been published internationally. His papers on social media in finance, e-payment system, and financial anxiety among Gen Z are quoted by scholars and read worldwide. To add more glitter, he is also armed with data analytics certification, making him a pro at blending numbers with insight and turning data into decisions. And he is here to share his expertise on a very cutting edge and futuristic theme, that is personalization through data analytics and predictive modeling. So get ready to understand how business can use data to not just analyze behavior, but actually predict the future and personalize experience like never before. And before I invite him, let me add a proud note. Dr. Anamatta is also an alumnus of United Institute of Management. Today, seeing him shine on the global stage and return to his root fills us with immense pride. He is truly a reflection of what the Excellence United stands for. I now request Dr. Anam to kindly join us.
Thank you, Peter sir, for the humble words. Actually, perhaps like I do not deserve it, but thank you. So the bottom part, like the end of it, what you mentioned, that matters the most for me. That I'm always a part of United Institute of Management. The people over there are my family, very close to my heart. So whenever there is something, so this is a promise that I'm always being there. So can I share my screen now?
Yes, Dr. Saab. Please share your screen.
Thank you. Right then. So we'll be talking about personalization through data analytics and predictive modeling. So I try to just incorporate some of the concepts, and then I'll be trying to give you a little hands-on session in order to like how to analyze data and then find insights from the data that I've collected. So about myself, a lot is being said, but still I'll take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm here representing University of Southampton today. I'm working over here as the head of business education, managing the undergraduate and PG programs. We are one of the top 80 QS ranked universities in the world. But as Peter sir rightly pointed out, I always, the heart always belong to United Institute of Management. So continuing from where I thought that I'll be starting the presentation, that so in this era, like where there is a lot of disturbances are going around the globe, the geopolitics is becoming all the more important. The political contacts or the relationship that we have with the organization and countries are fading quick and fast. So the importance of adoption of digital tools is rising like never before. So is uh, digital communication is on a rise, and like accordingly we cannot live in isolation. So we have to adapt our marketing strategy along with the pace of digitalization that is going along. So personalization via data analytics and predictive modeling is the key to survive in the current scenario, because all the organizations, there are a number of organizations. So like we used to talk about e-commerce organization, but there is quick commerce that is erupting like anything. And with all these competition raging up, we have to make a niche market for ourselves. And then the way out is that you should be able to offer customized product and customized uh, services for the customers. And it is not, it is like easier said than done. It is very difficult when we say, when you are marketing in a digital landscape, because your subscribers sort of are spread across the globe, and then you have to offer each one of them a personalized experience, which is not easy. So what is the goal of personalization through digital analytics is that you can offer exceptional service quality, exceptional product, of course, better customer experiences. You can promote loyalty of the customers and enhance your revenue, and you can focus on the products which deserve your attention more. And perhaps by doing that, you are able to manage your operational efficiency in a better way. Now, customers over a period of time are becoming more like reckless. They don't want to wait, they don't want to waste time. I think in the introduction, Dr. Peter is referring to one of the topics which is being discussed was about chatbots. But initially I'll share my experience with you when I was there in UAE. So for the banking needs, you have to go through the channel of chatbots, then you have to connect with them, and then they direct you after a lot of questions to the customer support executive. And I always do believe that these chatbots are wasting a lot of time. But what I didn't know, that these chatbots over a period of time are also learning. They are collecting information in order to make the banking experience perhaps more hassle free for me. So customer, they are becoming reckless. They don't want to waste time, and they want individualized experiences wherever possible. So personalized services can improve customer satisfaction, right? A satisfied customer will give you a positive word of mouth, which will help us to attract more customer and retain the customer, the original customer, about which we started talking about. And then customer lifetime value for the organization also enhances. So if there is a platform that I'm liking, and I'm liking the services and the products that the platform is offering me, which is very customized, it is taking my need, it is taking my liking and disliking into consideration, then customer lifetime value also goes over and above over a period of time, where customer tries to spend more on the platform, offer more value to the platform. And like I said, not only he himself engage into the platform, but he also tries to get it popular through the word of mouth, which is a very important thing that we are looking for. So operational efficiency also enhances by focusing on the resources that require more of our attention, and by perhaps saving ourselves from putting more resources into the products and services which are slow moving or which are not up to the mark of the expectation of the customer. One of the piece of information that I wanted to share is, as per data released by McKinsey, 76% of the customers feel frustrated without personalized experiences. So if you have to search for the products and services, if you are not offered the products and services that we are looking for, if you are not offered the recommendation, then we do not like the platform. Now, where data analytics fit in? So data analytics, first of all, let us understand what data analytics is. So data analytics is extracting insights through customer data. When I say customer data, we are trying to get customer data through their purchase history. Excuse me. Am I audible?
Sorry for the interruption, sir. May I request all the participants, please mute yourself.
Thank you, Rohit.
Request to technical team, please mute all participants.
So we refer to data analytics as a tool that help us get insights from the data in this context, because we are talking about customers. So any of the customer data, for instance, the purchase history of the customer, the purchasing behavior of the customer, the preferences, what are the products and services he is liking, right? Let's say, for example, the customer is using Netflix as a platform, right? So what are the different kind of movies he's referring to, that will give us some idea as Netflix. And what we see often is Netflix record it, process it, and that is how it comes up with the recommendation of the movies and shows for us. Then talking about predictive modeling. So predictive modeling is using this data through machine learning, through machine learning algorithms, or through statistical tool, in order to predict what are the key factors that affect customer behavior. Now, if you know that amongst the features of the product, among the features of the services, what are the key things that my customer is liking, that makes the job for me as a marketer all the more easier, right? So if you are doing proper data recording, if you are analyzing the data in a proper way, and if you are able to model it, we can put a restraint on churn of the customer, and the likelihood of the customer staying with us goes on the higher side. So both these tools together can help us tailor-made marketing solutions and intervention, design tailor-made marketing solution and interventions for our customer. Now, what we can do with these data analytics and predictive modeling, we can do segmentations, right? We can divide the customer basis their income. We can divide the market basis the age, the gender, and then we decide that what is the gender for what kind of product is more suitable. What is the income line that we are looking, which we are targeting as a marketer, right? So all these things we can take into consideration, and then basis their behavior, basis their preferences. Like I just quoted the example of Netflix, which is one of the easier example to recollect when we are talking about offering customized services and customized products on a platform which is accessible to hundreds and thousands and millions of customers. So dynamic content and offer personalization. So what we can do, we can also reach out to the customers. Many times you might have seen that if you listen to a particular kind of music, if you watch a particular kind of reel, if you watch a particular kind of even advertisement, or if you're looking for a particular kind of product, then your social media interface gets filled up with a similar kind of product or services offering. You receive more of such details on your social media platform, whatever you are using or what you're referring to. So this is the result of, because the data is being analyzed, and they are doing a sort of predictive modeling in order to find what is your taste and preferences are. Personalized customer journey is triggered by real time data. So as and when I am extracting, as and when I am getting encountered, as and when I am encountering a particular a platform, then I want to have the experience at the same time, right? So I do not have to remind the platform that this is the kind of show I'm interested into. Then the next time the platform, if it suggests that, okay, last time you're watching this kind of a show, now going by your like and dislike, the similar kind of shows which are available for you to perhaps review are these. Then this makes my life a lot more easier. The predictive churn detection and proactive retention measure. So once you are able to predict, then you are able to find out that what are the reasons due to which the customers are leaving the platform. Maybe we can engage with them in a better way, and maybe we are able to retain them with our platform. And like I said, all these together can help us maximize the customer lifetime value, the value that the customer offers to the organization in terms of spend or spending. But these are some of the examples that quickly came to my mind, but the examples are not limited to these many, right? These are some of the organizations which are using data analytics and predictive modeling quite beautifully in their marketing endeavor, right? So I also want to highlight few of them. Let's say, for example, KFC, Pizza Hut, what they do, they use AI powered analytical tools in order to analyze the purchase history of the customer and the behavioral data, right? And then deliver targeted promotion via email and social media intervention. So they try to understand that where your interest lies, and then you will end up receiving an email from KFC, Pizza Hut, or Funs and Petal that, okay, you purchased last year, you purchased last month on this occasion, maybe this is the same time of the month, you're looking for something, you want a break with your family, you want to dine out, today is a Saturday, right? Last Saturday you went for dining out, these were your preferences. Now we are offering a better discount on a similar kind of product and services that we are offering last week. So this way they try to engage you by offering promotions and getting higher sales from the customers. Achieve a 15% of increase in sales. So these brands, KFC and Pizza, because of better customer intervention, which are designed basis AI-based data analytics and predictive modeling, they are able to achieve a stronger customer engagement and a stronger customer loyalty, thereby increasing their overall sale by 15%. Demonstrate effectiveness of AI in hyper-personalized markets. So where the market is very competitive, so it shows that how you can use AI in order to do predictive modeling, in order to find out where the interest of the customer lies. So we will also be, in today's session, we'll be diving into some of the AI tools in order to find out how we can use amongst the various factors that are affecting customer behavior, how we can find out that which are those which require our immediate attention, or what are the factors which are affecting customer behavior are more important to us. Then similarly, there was an intervention program developed by Starbucks. So what they did, they used mobile app data to offer personalized reward to the customers, right? So those customers which are regular customers, and those who are using a particular kind of coffee, they are using a particular time of routine to visit a Starbucks, they are using it, they're leveraging on it in order to design interventions, in order to design promotional products for the customers. Then predictive models anticipate customer need, right? So through predictive model, we are going to find out what on a given period of time, on a given point of time, if the customer is visiting Starbucks during evening, what is the favorite drink, or what is the frequency of any drink that the customer is ordering on a regular basis, right? So we can customize our sales intervention accordingly, that these are the discounts that are available on your favorite drinks, right? Then increase app engagement. Now, once you are able to offer customized solution to the customers, you are able to enhance the engagement level of the customers. Let's say, for example, if you're using Rapido for the purpose of traveling from one place to another, you'll always receive that if you're not using Rapido over a period of time, you end up receiving some communication from Rapido. You are using us you are using Rapido for the purpose of commuting between your house and the place of work. Now you are not using since the last 7 days. Now we are offering this. If you use, there is a 20% discount, 10% discount, something like that. So they thereby they try their they design their intervention strategy in order to ensure that the customer remains loyal to us and there are more chances of repeat purchases. I already discussed about Netflix. Now, Netflix is a great example of how personalization strategy actually helps a platform. Now, if you want to check that out, go to Netflix, search for a movie which is not there, go after, let's say, 15 days, 20 days, and maybe you end up finding the movie. Or if you, even if you're not going over there after 20 days, maybe you receive an email communication, okay, you're looking for a similar kind of movie. Now there is a similar kind of movie that we have that is available, which is this one. Or they may even inform you that, okay, you are looking for a movie which was not available that time, but it is available now, and you can go and watch your favorite movie with us, right? So they are doing a whole lot of data analytics. They are involving a lot of machine learning algorithms, right, whereby they are able to offer unique customized product. Thereby the customer satisfaction with Netflix is there on the higher side, and they are able to retain their customer as well, even though there is a sort of app battle going on in India. But even that, in that such a dynamic market as well, they are able to retain a sizable portion of the market. Now, why we should do it? What is the key benefits of looking for personalization? Personalization is something that everyone prefers, right? We do not want to be recognized as someone who is very common, right? If you of course, if you're going to call a student by his or her name on a regular basis, if you're going to refer someone by their name, then they are going to recognize it much more. Then they feel a sense of attachment. So is the case in online shopping, online platform as well, is the case with digital platform as well. So when you are offered the customized experience, right, wherein there is a sense of offering product especially or customized for you, which are meant for you, then you are able to attract the attention of the customer even more. Higher conversion and sale uplift. So if you offer customized product, which is not a random product, if you do basic analysis of my purchasing habit, and then you offer something which is as per my need or requirement, right, then what will happen? Then the chances of me purchasing that product, maybe they're on the higher side, right? So there is a study that I was reading the other day. It tells us about how people end up buying more on quick commerce platform like Zepto, Blinkit, etc. Right? Why? Because sometimes you are just searching for certain things. You do not have the intention of buying them now, but then what they do, they take those data, they analyze it, and when you are going to place an order on Blinkit on the next time, they'll show you, okay, you're looking for a similar product last time. This product is now 15% down. Maybe this is the right time for you to buy, right? So thereby putting there a temptation on you so that you can go on and purchase the product. Faster response to changing customer preferences via real-time analytics. So like I was discussing all about that, I have a particular pattern, right? But over a period of time, the customer patterns is also quite changing, right? Like I'll share shortly a study with you where we initially hypothesized, we started with a hypothesis that maybe when a customer is purchasing electronic vehicle, maybe he's very concerned about the environment, right? That is why he ended up paying more for a vehicle which is actually costlier than the petrol version or the diesel version of it. But the customer is willing to pay more because he's very serious about the environment, because he's serious about the sustainability issue. But you will be surprised to know that that is not always the case. There are other things which are prompting the customer to buy electronic vehicles in India, right? So the customer taste and preferences keep on changing, right? You cannot rely on the data that you have collected once and then you relax on your desk sitting thinking that, okay, this is how Anam makes his purchases, right? Now I know all about him, so I don't need to do further data analytics, right? And if I keep on offering similar kind of product or services to him, he'll be happy. No, you will be at a loss, right? Why? Because the taste and preferences are rapidly evolving, changing over a period of time, right? So you need to monitor the data of each and every customer on daily basis, on real time basis, as and when they are interacting with you. You need to record the data so that you are able to understand, okay, Earlier, this particular customer at Starbucks, this was his favorite drink, but over the last 4 or 5 visits, he's also interested into this thing, right? So it means maybe he's trying to experiment. Maybe he's bored of the previous product that we are offering him, right? Maybe he likes experimenting. So if we can offer him different products, if we can show him that okay, we have all these range available at Starbucks, and then maybe he end up purchasing more from us as he used to do before. Enhance productivity through AI chatbots. Personally, to certain extent, I do not agree on this point that AI chatbots sometimes they waste our time, but yeah. So they are also evolving. They are like LLM, so they are also learning. Right, they are learning from our interactions. So as we are able to give them clear command, so it depends on us as well. If we give them the clearer command, and if we share the right kind of information with them, if we give them the right prompts, the chances are that we would be able to get the right results from them. So AI chatbots, they are dealing with inquiries in a proper way, right? If not very bad, right? And they are still evolving. Maybe over a period of time, the customer service executive that I wanted to interact with is no longer required in an organization. Now, on one aspect, this raises a concern on the part of us belonging to the management fraternity, that maybe the jobs are there would be limited jobs, right? But on the other hand, we can also think that those individuals who are going to get enhance their capabilities, and who learn this trick of interacting with AI, and who master themselves in the game called AI, right? Maybe they end up earning a better package as compared to the rest of the lot. So if you're doing something routine, then it is very difficult for you to survive. You have to change. And the similar concept applies with the organization as well. You cannot survive in the marketplace by doing or by offering the products on a routine basis. Then the predictive modeling or personalization also helps you to be more focused in your approach, right? Like, we cannot focus, the resources that any of the organization has is limited. You cannot focus on everything, right? You need to rely on some data set. You need to rely on something wherein you are able to find out where you need to concentrate more of your resources to, right? Let's say, for example, Tata found long ago, at least 6 years, 7 years ago, they found out that what we used to call as the people's car, people are no longer interested into people's car, right? So there is no point of manufacturing people's car, right? We should perhaps divert our resources to SUVs, EVs. That is how new versions of SUVs with Tata started to erupt, and they were able to get or capture a better market share as compared to before. What are the challenges? So when I say customer data, this is easier said than done. While the guidelines in India do not put much restrictions on us, but in many of the countries, it is very difficult to gather the customer data. The customer data and their privacy is at the center of everything, right? So you cannot collect their data. You cannot collect their data without informing them. You cannot use their information without consulting them, without taking an acceptance from them, right? So whenever you are planning to collect data, whenever there is a platform that is collecting data, it is always beneficial that there should be a declaration informing the customer that we will be using your data, not for the purpose of anything else, not for the purpose of leaking this data out to a third party platform, but in order to make our services more fruitful for you only, right? Avoiding over personalization that feels intrusive, right? While I like personalization, while I like the platform to offer me what I am looking for, right? I do not want platform to waste my time. I do not want myself to go into a platform and search for the product and services that I'm looking for. If the suggest basis my previous interaction, I will be more than happy. But what I do not want is, you should not intervene with my privacy, right? You should not shoot too many emails to me saying that, okay, this is that. So then also the customer is not going to like it, right? Over communication is always bad. So you have to strike a balance as an organization. The organization should know that where the balance lies. You need to collect the data with permission. You need to analyze the data, offer personalization, reach out to the customer, but this reaching to the customer should not be over and above the patience of the customers. You should not be you should not be reaching out to the customer with too many products offering in order to make the customer confused. You should not be reaching customers with on such a higher level of frequency that the customer gets bored. Ensuring data quality and integration from multiple sources. So when I say that data can offer us insights, it also depends upon in what way we are collecting data, right? In and how much we are concerned about ensuring that data integrity is there, right? The data is integrated in a proper manner, the data is collected in a proper manner, the missing data issues are not there, right? We have all the relevant information about the customer whenever he is interacting with the platform, and the data is recorded in a systematic manner which cannot be accessed by someone who should not be reaching this information, right? But when we require as a company to analyze this data, it will be available for us, right? Balancing AI automation with human empathy, right? So AI, so there was a news sometimes before, so I think this happened somewhere in Europe, if I'm not wrong, in USA, not Europe, USA. So if I remember it correctly. Now what happened over there, there was a kid, 13-year-old, and then he was interacting with GPT or any of the AI platform, and he was asking it that what are the various methods by which a person can commit suicide, right? And because AI is AI, right, so it was offering solutions to the kid, right? So this is where the human empathy is important, right? So we are operating, let's say we are talking about India as a market in Indian, for Indian customers, or more so I can say with Asian customers, the empathy quotient or the emotional quotient is there on the higher side, right? So you can do data analysis, you can do predictive modeling, but a human touch in the customer interaction is always required, right? Continual model refinement, right? So once you find that, okay, this is what we have done, but so I'll show you that how we develop a model and how we test the model. So once you have done a data analysis, then it doesn't mean that your job is done, right? Then, like I said, you have to do it on a continuous basis, because the taste, preferences, likes and dislike are evolving, can change over a period of time, because I have a lot of options now, right? And if you lose me once, maybe you're going to lose me for the final time. Why? Because once I shift from Netflix to Amazon Prime, maybe I realize that Amazon is more effective, right? It is less costly, right? And it is offering me similar kind of experience, and there are many documentaries, movies and series which are there for me to watch, which was not there with Netflix. So once you lose a customer, then it is very difficult to ensure that the customer comes back to you, right? That is why it is a continual exercise. Now, what are the emerging trends in customer service personalization? So like I said, AI enhance language personalization, right? So AI as a tool where AI can interact with you in your own language. The AI is able to offer you a better interface, right? Integration of Internet of Things and voice data, right? So then like I said, a personalization kind of a thing with human touch. So if the interaction can happen over a voice note, right? AI enables sentiment and emotional analysis. So we'll be learning how sentiment analysis is important, right? So we'll be collecting data. We'll be using AI for the purpose of performing sentiment analysis for us. And like I said, it is important because it tells me that out of the various factors which may have a role or which can affect the customer decision making, what is the most important one, right? Which factor has the highest impact on the purchasing behavior of the customer? Then offering predictive alerts for proactive service intervention, right? So offering alerts to the customer that this is there, it is available. Increase investment in AI driven chatbots. Like I said, chatbots, they require a lot of improvement still, right? So you have to invest in them in order to make the experience of the customers better, so that they do not feel frustrated. Their needs and requirements can be served in a better way. So perhaps we need to open up more more service options for the chatbots, right? So generally when we interact with the chatbot, it has a fixed field which it's where it mentions that, okay, these are the things that I can offer to you, right? But maybe I'm looking for something which is kind of very open-ended. It is not there in the list. So can we make chatbots enabled wherein it can interact with me not only with that kind of things that for which it is designed, but it can also offer me a personalized experience by asking me that what are the things I'm looking for, and maybe it can evolve, maybe it can build it upon itself for a period of time and offer me better interface and better interaction. So what are the practical implications for us as faculty in the field of digital marketing, or the researcher in this field? So we need to encourage interdisciplinary research. So when we focus, like particularly if you're talking about India, I may be wrong, but Indian market is like very much like we always promote that you are from a particular field, you should focus more on your field of study. We do not talk about interdisciplinary as much, right? And if somebody is doing, we sort of lose confidence on that people. We on that person, we sort of think that he's managing something somewhere, right? So which is not always the case, that people might be interested into doing something interdisciplinary. Like in one of my research, I've done my research where I've tried to find out how financial behavior is affected by empathy, right? How it is affected by your concern for the society, right? How it is affected by being pro-social, where you are concerned by the well-being of others, not yours, but you want and your financial behavior is changing accordingly, right? And even during testing times, right? So whenever, let's say, there is a war going on, there is a flood situation, right? We do not have much resources ourselves, but because we are watching somebody is struggling, we are always there to help, right? So we cannot say that financial behavior is always talks about rationality, right? Helping somebody in need, ignoring that I'm not a very rich person myself, is not a rational behavior. But that by integrating interdisciplinary research, maybe we can challenge the traditional theories of finance, for instance, traditional theories of marketing, and come up with something new. And that is where we add value to research, and that is what is expected from us. Then integrating real world case studies, right? So you can make case studies with AI now, right? It can make a lot of simulations for you. So people say case studies are losing relevance, but I don't believe that case studies are losing relevance over a period of time. Case studies have their own importance, and perhaps with the advent of AI, with the advent of LLMs, you can look into another perspective of these case studies. You can deliver these case studies through integration of AI, which can open another more doors of learning for the students, right? Foster ethical research. So this is important, right? This is something where we should not compromise upon. So like I was saying, GDPR issues. So you're using data for the purpose of your analysis, but a lot of a question is being raised in many of the Asian countries context, that we are compromising on the data ethics part. So data should be collected in an ethical manner, and proper disclosure should be given. Then explore partnership with industry, right? So this is what we can do as faculty, as academia. So now, as I said, that this is the time to evolve. AI is there, and it is going to remain there for some period of time, right? So we have to live with it. So this is the right time, perhaps we can do interaction with the industry in order to find out that what are the needs that they are looking in our students, what are the skills that they want to find in our students, right? What are the routine jobs which they cannot manage with what are the jobs that they cannot manage with AI, right? Which they can only manage things which are more routine, right? So AI is replacing certain people, but if you remain routine, you are going to get replaced, right? So we need to evolve, we need to upskill, right? We need to enhance our skill, we need to master this art, we need to talk about certain skills where AI perhaps cannot challenge us as of now, right? And when it gets in a position to challenge us, then since we are continuously upgrading ourselves, we further reach another level in this process of growth. So we need to explore a lot of partnership with industry in order to find out that what they're looking for, and perhaps also perform research, perhaps also conduct research aligning with the needs of the industry. Now with this, we come to the hands-on session. What I'll do, I've shared some data with the organizing team, right? If I can request all the participants, if you can use this link to download Smart PLS, those who have already done, very nice, right? Those who have not done, can you please download Smart PLS software using the link that I've shared? You're able to access the link?
Okay, Anand sir, just a minute. I will give you. Now you can.
Yeah, even if you are not having the link to download the software, if you type free download Smart PLS 4 in Google, you should be able to do it, right? Just type download Smart PLS 4 for free in Google. Once you type download Smart PLS 4, you'll get an option to download like this. Go to downloads. Then, so they are offering a free 30 days trial for the educators and researcher. Then you can use this icon, download Windows installer, click on it. So while this app is getting installed for you, what I can do is I can show you what we are going to do. So I've collected some data on e-vehicle purchase intention of the customers in Indian market, right? Is the screen visible? Can you see the questionnaire? Can you see the questions? Everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your screen is visible and we can see all the questions.
Right. So what we have done is we have used certain certain variables in order to find out what are the key variables which are affecting the adoption of technology, right? The technology called as e-vehicle. What are the key variables which are affecting e-vehicle adoption in Indian context? So one of the variable used in our research was perceived usefulness, right? Perceived usefulness as in what value addition the e-vehicle offers to you, right? And there are certain questions. So these are all questions, right? So let's say one of the question was, using e-vehicle will enhance my contribution towards reducing pollution, right? Using e-vehicle will allow my children to breathe freely, right? Using e-vehicle enable me to reach on time, something like that, right? And we have used Likert scale of 1 to 5, wherein 5 is for highly agree and 1 is for highly disagree. Then there are other indicators like ease of use, perceived ease of use, how easy I find this technology to use, right? Social influence, facilitating conditions, compatibility, right? Then my purchase or behavioral intention. So these are the factors that I have counted into our research. For that, we collected data. And once the data is collected through the Google form, we get responses like this, right? So we were able to collect around 322 responses, right? We collected 322 responses, which like we decided, like basis the indicators, how many indicators we are using, basis we have done a predictory sample analysis, how much sample we need, right? So we were able to find out that okay, we needed a sample size which is close to 300, so we collected 323, right? And this is excluding the sample that we have collected for pilot testing, right? Now, while this software download takes some time, right? So let me show you, once the download and installation is done, how the interface looks like. So once you are prompted to install the software and you accept all the conditions which are over there, then at the end of it, once you finish everything, then a shortcut on the desktop will be created like this, Smart PLS 4. If you click on it, you get an interface like this, right? So there are a number of options. You can perform PLS SEM, you can perform covariance based SEM, you can perform process simple regression, all these things we can do. But for now, we are concerned about the new project that we are going to do, right? So let me call this new project as EV, right? And I click on create. Once I click on create, this folder will appear. As of now, it is empty. The folder is empty, right? But there are two options over there: import data file and create model, right? So what we need to do, we need to click on import data file. Sorry. Once we click on import data file, it will take you to the desktop where your folders are. So let's say I put my data in the folder called FDP. I'll click on this FDP. Sustainability is the file, the Excel file, which contains the responses that I collected from 322 people. So I select that. So I have to close the file which is already open. Say OK, and then open. Now, once you do, then what happens? It will first show you what are the various variables, right? And for each variable, you'll get the responses and mean value and all. Everything will be written over here, right? So we are not so much concerned about the descriptive part as of now. We call descriptive to this minimum, maximum values, right? So we are not concerned as of now for that. We are more concerned about predictive modeling. So what I do thereafter, once the data is there and visible for me to review, after that, once I know that there is no missing value, so I can click on import, right? Once you click on import, it will show you an interface, right, where you have all these things. You will have the value of standard deviation, skewness, right? All these things are there for you. So all the indicators are there. So if I go back in EV, now import data option is gone, right? Now I'm left with one of the option only, which is create model, right? So what I've done, data is imported and it is ready for me to perform my analysis, right? Now, since performing the analysis is already ready for me, I can now proceed with the next step. And what is the next step? Clicking on create model, right? Now, this is where you will be asked for what type of model you are looking for, right? So my project name is EV. I decided this name for my new project because this is about e-vehicle usage, right? Now it will give you all the option, right? So for this one, we are going to use PLS SEM, right? Which is partial least square structural equation modeling. We are going to use this technique for the purpose of performing the analysis in our workshop today, right? It will be asking again for a model name. Let's say I call it now EV1, right? If you have saved the project by the name of EV, the model name has to be little different. So I'll call the model EV1, save, right? So you will be directed towards this field. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible for everyone, right? All the variables and all the indicators are there for me, right? Now, we need to understand, first of all, that what are my independent variables, the variables for which I am measuring the impact, and what is my dependent variable. Now, like I informed you that I'm testing the behavioral intention to buy all from India. I'm measuring the behavioral intention to buy e-vehicle, right? So I have coded that item as PI. PI is purchase intention, right? So I'm selecting all these items together. Just click and select all of them, pushing the control button, and then drag them out to this open field, and then leave the button on the mouse. So you'll find something like this. PI will be there. There will be a box inside which PI is written. And then you will be encouraged to press enter, right? Once that happens, press enter. So you'll be shown something like this. So what is this? This is my dependent variable, PI, purchase intention, right? Now this purchase intention, I've used some 8 question for that, right? So PI1, PI2, PI3, PI4, these are the codings for that, right? So all the indicators that I use for the purpose of collecting the data, right, are there with me with purchase intention. Now let us say I want to measure the impact of perceived usefulness, the utility of the product for me, right? So I'll select perceived usefulness now, right? There are 5 indicators for perceived usefulness. I dragged it here as well, right? Then I press enter. You can always click on the red ball and you can bring it down, right? If you find that in this here, these indicators are not clearly visible, you want them to appear on the downside, then select the red ball, the variable for you, right click, right? And you will be shown the options, various options over there. And one of the option would be align indicators to the bottom. So if you click that, all the indicators will appear in the bottom. If you want to align the indicators at the top, you can do so, right? So whatever way you want to present your model, you can do that, right? I hope till here we are good. You are following me. I do understand that many of you might still be waiting for the download to finish, but I guess recordings will be available for you, so you can do it later on with this, or I'll also share my email with you. So some of you who may encounter some problem when you are trying to check on your own data, then you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Then let's say I also wanted to check how perceive ease of using. Perceive ease of using. Now, if the technology is too complicated, right, that it becomes difficult to like interact, the interface is very challenging, right? The e-vehicle is there, but it is very complicated a technology. So for me, using it is a task in itself, right? So that can also probably have an impact on my purchase intention. So over a period of time, we know about all the successful products, that products which are easy to use, generally they survive for long, right? Now that was the basic differentiating factor that used to be between Windows and Android mobile set long before. Now people have evolved over a period of time, but still some of the people still find using iPhone more challenging as compared to Android, right? So if the technology is easy to adapt, easy to use, it can offer its own competitive advantage, right? So what I'll do, I'll select all the questions which were asked to the audience regarding how ease of technology may have an impact on their purchase decision. So I'll drag it here, press enter, right? So I have now one dependent variable and I have now two independent variable, which may have an impact or which may not have an impact on my purchase intention. Let us add something more, right? So what I wanted to do, I wanted to add this variable as well, concern, right? Because I was asking question, and then many of we believe that environmental concern is a primary thing that derive people or that motivate people to buy e-vehicles, right? Because they are very concerned about pollution. They want their family to breathe fresh air, and they are concerned about what is going on in the world with the excess usage of vehicles and all. That is why they are adapting or adopting uh, e-vehicle, right? So we have also taken into consideration a couple of questions we have asked to the audience, wherein we have tried to measure that whether their awareness of the environmental issues does have an impact when they are choosing whether or not to buy an e-vehicle in an Indian context, right? So let's say for now we are going to check this model only, right? So what lies next? You need to click here, connect, right? So I repeat, once the variables are dragged, I need to connect the variables with the dependent variable, right? So I click on this icon, connect. Once you click, it will become blue. Let's say, for example, I want to use select. Now select is used for the purpose of moving these indicators, right? You can click connect for the purpose of connecting the indicators, right? So I want to connect perceived usefulness with purchase intention. So they are connected now, right? I want to connect perceived ease of use with purchase intention. They are connected now. I want to connect concern with purchase intention. So this is a very simple model where all the variables are not interacting with each other. Rather, we are just measuring that what is their likely impact on the dependent variable, which is purchase intention, right? Till here, any issues, any challenges? Are you guys following me, or like if there is some difficulty, if there is some question? So I'm open to question as of now for the part that we have discussed till now. Are we good? Are we good? You are able to follow what we have done thus far? Right then. So once the variable are connected, right, what I do, I click on the calculate button, right? You'll be shown number of options, right? But for now, we have to run this model, right? So for running this model, the first and foremost thing that we have to do is to run the PLSM algorithm on the variables that we have collected, right? Now, because the variables are there in the form of responses, right? Now, these responses has to be converted into latent variable scores. And then we also need to test whether all the variables or all the questions that we have asked from the audience are offering us some result or not, right? Whether all the questions are valuable for this model, or whether some of the questions are not exactly that much relevant to this model, right? So if I click on PLS algorithm, so we are not required to touch anything over here, right? You can leave it standardize, right? And then you can click on start calculation. Okay, right? So once we start calculation, what we find that the score of all of these indicators are there for us to check. For instance, let us say perceived usefulness, first indicator is giving us a result of 0.893, then second one 0.91, right? So this shows how much each question converge to the variable, right? So the rule of thumb says that this should be greater than, the value reported here should be greater than 0.7, right? If the value, any of this value, if it is less than 0.7, right, then we may not be able to get the result that we are looking for, right? So if you want to know how the results are, so let us start with checking the reliability and validity of the construct, right? All these things are here. So what we are interested into is what is the Cronbach alpha value for our indicator, right? So whether the indicator is able to measure the construct that we are aiming to measure, right? If the value of Cronbach alpha is less than 0.7, right, then it means the indicator is not reliable. Now, there is a simple rule when you are using this PLSM. If all the values are in green, it means you are good to go. It means you are free to proceed with further calculations. Then we are interested into something which is called as outer loading. Now the outer loadings are also visible here, right? But if you're writing a research paper and you want to report the outer loading, so sorry. So sorry, I pressed the wrong button. So if you are interested into outer loading, so what you can do is you can click on the outer loading button, and there it would be available for you to download the data in the format that you choose. Maybe you want to download it in a form of an Excel, and then what you can do, you can copy it from over there and paste into your research paper if you want to report it, right? So it is up to you. This was the second variable. Let me make it aligned to bottom. Bring this guy here. Then what was the other variable? It was concern. So concern 1 and 2. Put it over here, press enter. It is there. Now I click on connect. Disconnected. So once you connect, it will change color. The variables indicator will change color, right? Then you need to click on PLSM algorithm. It will hardly take a minute, and then the things are there for you to report. You can also copy paste this picture that if you want to report this. So I was talking about outer loading. So outer loading is like this. So outer loading, like I said, should be greater than 0.7. If it is above 0.7, you are good, right? So you can copy to Excel or to Word format as you want to do that, right? Then we can also calculate the construct reliability, like I said. Then you can also check about the collinearity statistics. So how each indicator or how each indicator of the construct is related to each other. If there is a very high level of similarity between the question that you are asking, right? So it will be reported by the VIF values, because sometimes the people who are responding the question, they also can get confused, because some of the questions which represent perceived ease of use, or which they represent perceived usefulness, they may feel that the questions are of an overlapping nature, although they are not like that, right? So because of that, a higher VIF value you may be getting, right? So we come back over here, right? So this is one part of the analysis that we are interested into doing, right? This is one part of just testing that whether our data is collected in the correct manner, whether the questionnaire that we built is effective enough, right? It is allowing us to measure what we wanted to measure, whether all the questions are converging to the variable, whether all the questions are giving me the result that I'm looking for, right? And then I need to proceed further and perform bootstrapping. right? Now these bootstrapping will show the impact of each of these indicator individually on the dependent variable. So by default, they have mentioned over here as 5,000 subsamples they are going to create for iteration for bootstrapping. But for making the calculation quicker, for now, I'm changing it to 1,000, right? Ideally, don't change it. Let it be 5,000. If you're doing it for research purpose, that is always better. So once I run, so then we are there with the final result, right? So let's say I wanted to test what is the path coefficient, that what is the impact of each variable on my dependent variable, which is called as uh, intention to buy e-vehicle, right? So perceived ease of use is having a significant impact. Concern, environmental concern is also significant, and perceived usefulness is also significant. So what I've done, I've taken three variables in my model, right? And I wanted to test, are all or some of them at least have an impact on my dependent variable. And my dependent variable in this case is intention to buy e-vehicle or purchase intention to buy electronic vehicle, right? But to my surprise, I came to know that all these variables are, all these reported value are less than 5%. So it means that all the variables are having a significant impact on the dependent variable, which is called as purchase intention, right? So I know for sure now that these are the three indicators which are important for me if I'm doing my research in order to find out what are the key factors that affect the purchase intention of the customer, right? More so, I can also know my R square value from here, right? So this is the R square result showing over here. So it says that together these variables are causing an impact of 52.7% in the dependent variable, right? So it shows your effect size of these variables together, right? Now, so the problem is I have the variables with me. All of them are significant, right? I have limited resources. I'm planning for an advertisement, right? I want to push through an advertisement wherein I want to design the campaign in such a manner where I'm able to find out that what are the key factors that are affecting the intention to buy e-vehicle in an Indian context, right? So this being done, what I can do more is I can still do something in order to find out the relative importance of these three variables, right? This model is telling me all three of them are important. All three of them are having an impact on the dependent variable. But what this model is not telling me is what is the relative weight of this variable perceived ease of use in the importance as a whole, right? So let's say together these variables are causing 52% impact. Can I say out of this 52%, the major impact is coming from environmental concern? Or can I say the major impact is coming from perceived usefulness? Or can I say the major impact is coming from how easy it is to use the new technology, right? That is perceived ease of use. Okay, so that cannot be ascertained with the help of what we have done as of now, even though these findings are useful, but I need to dive deeper in order to find out that how these results are further useful for me. So what I can do, we can further use another platform, right? Which is the free platform, which is not paid, right? Which is called as Julius AI, right? Now, what you need to do, you just type Julius AI. It is a free AI platform for the purpose of supporting data analytics for you. You can perform all sort of data analytics on Julius, and it can give you very good result using Python and all such algorithms, right? So what I've done is
Sorry, sir. I request the technical team, please remove the option of writing from this
Yeah,
because yes.
the
Sir,
screen is
just
not
a minute, sir. Yes, the
sure.
screen is not visible.
Thank you. Right then. So what I did, I have taken the data, the same data that I uploaded on Smart PLS, right? And I uploaded the file over there, right? So I've also shared that file with the team. I request the team to share the file with all the participants. So there is a file which is called as LV sustainability. So this file you would be able to download after running the basic PLS algorithm on Smart PLS, right? So once you upload this original file that where you have collected the data of the participant and you run the basic PLS algorithm, then you can download that after running that algorithm, all these responses are converted into latent variable score by the platform. So what you can do, this latent variable score file, you can download from therein, right? So earlier what we used to do is take this latent variable file, take it to SPSS, right? And in SPSS, we used to perform 10 iterations on artificial neural networks in order to find out that what is the sensitivity analysis, right? Which was a tedious task in itself, right? So I've done something like that with the help of a file which is over here, right? So I have done tenfold iteration. So I've done 10 times the iteration on artificial neural network model, right? Using the predictors in order to find out the relative importance of each variable. But for now, thanks to AI, things are easier for us. So what we can do, we can open Julius. On Julius, we can upload the latent variable score file, right? Once it is uploaded, you need to give the prompt to Julius that you want to perform a sensitivity analysis. You need to make it clear that what is your dependent variable, right? So you need to write very clearly. You need to give the prompts very clearly, right? So like I've written over here that I've uploaded the LV sustainability file. Can you perform sensitivity analysis where PI means the purchase intention and this is my dependent variable. You can also define that. So managing AI is all about prompts. The clearer prompts you are going to give to AI, the better response you are going to receive from it, right? So if you can make it further clear that, okay, these are my dependent variable and my objective is I want to perform a similar analysis like artificial neural network, and what I want to know is the relative weightage of each of the dependent variable, each of the independent variable which are there in my analysis, right? So once it is done, it will run in the background, the Python modeling and everything, and it is going to come up with the results for you, right? So what it is suggesting to us is, that, see, all these things that I used to create with ANN, the sensitivity analysis, it has done for me, right? So what it is suggesting me after running 10 iterations like I used to do with SPSS with the help of artificial neural network, it has done 10 iterations for me, and it is telling me that out of the all the variables that you have used in your model, the most important one is perceived usefulness, right? And what is surprising is it is saying that concern is not having an impact at all, right? So people are not purchasing, even though in our model, concern by the nature of the data that we have collected, it is statistically significant, right? But if you're talking about relative importance of all the variables which are there in the model, highest relative importance is that of perceived usefulness, right? So it is the variable that requires your immediate attention. Now, what are the implications that it is offering for us. And the next variable in our model appear to be facilitating conditions, right? So what does these means? Then compatibility. What does compatibility means, and how does it affects for like my policy recommendation, and what I should what conclusion I should draw out of it, right? So this suggests that if you are going to develop a digital marketing plan, right, you should try to convince your buyer that what is the usability of this particular e-vehicle. You should not highlight that this technology is very easy to use, because this the generation that we are dealing with, they are well versed with technology, right? So for managing a technology for them is not a tedious task. They can manage technology. That is why sensitivity of perceived ease of use is perhaps less, and perceived usefulness, that what is the usability. If I'm going to move from petrol vehicle to e-vehicle, what are the benefits that I'm going to draw, how it is useful for me. And if you can highlight the usefulness of the product in the proper way, maybe you are able to attract the customer in a better manner. Then facilitating conditions, right? Now what do we mean by facilitating condition? Let's say one of the facilitating condition is, do you have the public charging points given at a very frequent distribution in your city, right? So that if somebody is purchasing a e-vehicle and is looking for and is running out of charging and is looking to go to a charging station, the charging station is always nearby, and there are multiple options for him or her to proceed with the charging, right? Even he is not there in his home, he can use an alternative. There is a charging station which is very reasonable. The cost is also quite less. So these are the facilitating conditions that promote the adoption of e-vehicle, right, for our research. So what we did thereafter, we reported all this, converted all this in the form of a research paper. Now this is already published, right? So title is quite fancy. I do recommend that the title does plays a role. It attracts the attention of the editor-in-chief first of all. So it should be related to the topic, but if it is an attractive title, it may help you out, provided all the contents are and everything is also aligned. So this is a Q2 journal, Economics and Sociology. This article is already published, right? And all the things that I've shown you, this was the research model, the broader research model. I've not tested the broader research model because of the lack of time, right? And so it is available, and this journal is like open access, right? Is a university journal, and it is open access for all the researchers. So you can go and download this article if you want to, if you find that this is of interest for you. And this is the smart PLS model, right? R squared value, right? And then what we have done, we have also reported the sensitivity analysis, right? So what is the relative importance of each of these variables, right? So as you can see, the relative importance of perceived usefulness was 92% with the traditional approach that I went into using SPSS, right? And the next in line was compatibility and facilitating condition, right? Which was also true when I'm using Julius for the purpose of doing my data analysis. So this is how we can use statistical techniques, right? And where we can use AI in order to leverage upon the customer data, right? And offer useful findings for the marketers, and thereby help them designing their marketing solutions, keeping the personalization aspect, so that the customer feel that the final product aligns to him, is designed keeping in mind his needs and requirement, right? So the e-vehicle talks about that the fuel expenditure is going to go down, right? So it is not only saying that you are going to save earth in the long run, it is also suggesting that your pocket is going to face is going to be relaxed upon the cost burden of the fuel, right? So in the long run, it may be a costlier option, but you end up saving in the long run money, because you are required to spend less when you are using electronic vehicles, something like that, right? So this is what we have done. and I hope I was able to give you some insight with the PPTs and with the hands-on session that I wanted to do, and which I've done. Even though I know that downloading the software may have taken some time for you, but it is a very easy software to use, Smart PLS. Install it. Once you install it, it will be there with you for 30 days before you decide that you want to use it or you want to license of it or not. And then what you can also do is, if you are an educator and you are working on a smaller sample size, let's say 100 samples for the purpose of teaching and all, then you can also always go with the student license or educator license, which is like, so the limitation is that sample size is restricted, but it is free. So it comes free of cost, right? So I hope I was able to offer some insight to the faculty development program, right? With this, I'll stop sharing and I'll open the floor for question and answer, if that is okay, Manmohan sir and Rohit sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Ajay, Anam, sir. We are waiting for the question answer round, sir. Before that, sir, my voice is audible to you, Anam, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you, Rohit.
Sir, I just wanted to ask you one question. Although you have given very good presentation on the personalization and the impact of AI, also you have said. But sir, I just wanted to ask you, how does this personalization work in industry beyond e-commerce, like healthcare and banking and education also? Because we from the education industry, so I just wanted to know the scope of personalization in the education sector, especially.
Right. It does helps, right? So let's say at Southampton, what we are doing, like each student who are like exploring the website, so we sort of get a data that, okay, these are the people who are reaching out to us or who are interested in our data, or who are approaching us through LinkedIn and everything. And like there is a particular cell at University of Southampton which is managing the data for USD. So we have a campus here, we have a campus in Malaysia, we have a campus in UK, and they are analyzing all these data to offer insight, like from where we are getting most of the admissions, right? The students these days, what are the streams in which they are interested into, right? So students are also becoming very unconventional, right? So they are choosing a stream that we earlier used to believe that that this is what people should do given the scenario, but they are choosing different streams, right? So all these things are there, so we can use for in that manner in educational field, right? And talking about financial services, for that matter, talking about banking or insurance, etc. So for instance, for us, when we were there in UAE, so the health insurance was free. So it was given by the employer. So when I landed in this part of the world, I needed health insurance for me. So I tried to just browse the website of some of the companies, like I say Lombard and then SDFC Ergo, and I guess Rohit, me and you were discussing that which is the better option as well. So when I was browsing, so immediately I started receiving call, right? So okay, you're looking for this thing, so emails will start to pop in my inbox that, okay, you're looking for an insurance product, can you suggest a suitable time wherein a call can be made, something like that. So they are paying respect to my privacy, that they are not calling me randomly. I am receiving email as well, but they are also getting their database. Okay, there is a customer who is looking for an insurance product, and maybe we can approach him, right? And if we can design the product as per his need, right? Like if when there was a box in case of SDFC Ergo, where you need to type in that what kind of product you're looking for, how many family members are there in your family, right? So basically I'm giving all my data, right?
Yes,
when,
sir, absolutely.
when we interact with GPT and ask it to make our Ghibli art, so basically we allowed it to access all our data, right? So we are doing it fun, but it is collecting all that data very seriously. So it is there with the GPT, it is there with the machine learning algorithm, and it reads my mind, right? So
Yes.
so of late I've made a friend which is GPT. What I did, I keep telling him that, okay, it, not him, it, I keep telling it that, okay, this is me, this is my likes and dislike, I do research in this area. So you find that over a period of time, the moment you ask him that I'm traveling outside India and what are the food items that I should select for myself, so it is going immediately to suggest me that since you are a vegetarian, right? So you should not go for the non-veg options, and these are the proper veg option that you may find in London, right? And these are the places, maybe South Hall, right? So South Hall is like mini India. So if you go to London, so there you will find all the vegetarian products, and then perhaps you can survive for a period of 14 days in UK.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I'm very much convinced with your answer, sir. The way you have correlated the AI and the personalization with the current environment is absolutely great. One
Thank
of
you.
my audiences wanted to know his personal question, like, is personalization is always beneficial for the customer point of view, or does it sometimes manipulate our buying decision also?
Good question, by the way, right? That whether our mind buying behavior can be manipulated. I guess when I was talking about it. So there is a study which was recently there in Business Standards. It was like, so of late the Indian government announced something which is like reduction in the GST, right? So many of these daily products are going to be very like lesser costlier for us. I shouldn't say very affordable, but it should be lesser costlier for us now because of the reduction in GST slab rate. And then there is a increment on the GST on quick commerce platform like Blinkit and all. So what they are doing is, this study was telling us that when we are engaging with Blinkit or Zepto, we are ending up purchasing things that we may not need immediately, right? But because we are in that interface, but because we are looking for options, and then something pops up. Okay, let's say for example, I give you my example. So I wanted to purchase a laptop, right? Now one friend of mine said that it is a marketing gimmick that M2, M3 and M4, right? So go with M1, right? If you're looking for a MacBook, and this is affordable as well, and it performs basically what we need as researchers, all the software you would be able to run, right? So I search MacBook on Flipkart, right? Then there was certain price which was mentioned over there, let's say 48,000, right? Then after a week, I didn't do anything. I never added this thing into my cart or anything, but I search for in the search option that I'm looking for MacBook, this thing, and then with a chip M1. Then after a week or two, I receive when I opened Flipkart, something came over there which was saying there is a great offer on MacBook, and this is now selling for 44,000, right? So it means this is customized, and they are also forcing me to get into a transaction, right? Which which otherwise I may not be very interested into doing now, because my organization has given me a laptop, so I do not need more laptop for personal purpose. It is good enough. It is very difficult to carry 2 laptops, but because this offer was there and this is a very good offer, so I ended up buying it. So yes, I do agree that sometimes your buying behavior can be affected, but this is what we are looking for. We want, as marketer, they are trying to affect our buying behavior, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, sir. My last question from you, one of my professor, Dr. Shalin, wanted to ask you, sir, as a smartphone user are more concerned about privacy of their data, Samsung has started a feature wherein by enabling it, the majority of user data is now stored on Samsung phones rather than being sent to the external server. If so, how can different apps continue to provide personalized experience using analytical and predictive model?
Yeah. So, like I said, we ourselves are expose ourselves, right? Like if there is a trend, like these days there is a trend. The trend is the poor pop star, not exactly poor in the sense how she is used in this context, right? She is very rich. So Dua Lipa took a picture of herself, right, which is actually a selfie in a white t-shirt, right? Very decent picture, and then she, like out of something, and she has taken this picture. Now what is happening is people are using this picture for their own marketing needs, right? So like she's sometimes you'll find that she's shown wearing Indian cricket team jersey, right? women team jersey, and then there is an influencer who is showing that, okay, even Dua Lipa is promoting the Indian league, right, or the Indian women cricket team, so we should watch their matches more often, right? And I think some of the football club also use her picture, right? So she didn't permit AI to use these things, right? So but somebody somewhere is able to manipulate that. So I should say that in the current scenario, it is very difficult to control it. It is very difficult to control it, and perhaps we are exposing ourselves more, right? Because long back I met someone who told me that when you install WhatsApp, you yourself give all the permission to WhatsApp to access all your information. So WhatsApp is not at fault. It is asking your permission that can I access your gallery, and you're saying yes, 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 because you're too much interested into downloading the app rather than reading all the materials over there. So it is like very much like the marketing of mutual funds, where they quickly say mutual fund investment are subject to market risk, right? But what is happening now, if you see, mutual fund investments in India has surpassed the level of highest mutual fund investment which is being done ever, right? As of now, 5.5 individual units, investors, retail investors I'm talking about, are investing into mutual funds. 5.5 crores investors are investing into mutual funds, individual investors, and the domestic investment has surpassed the foreign portfolio investment long back, right? So it means that this is what it is like. People are exposing themselves to information for various need. They want information about investment, they want advice from GPT, and the moment you get engaged with any of these tools, you leak your personal information, right? So I don't think basically any kind of device can help you out, right? So somebody used to tell us that the primary reason I purchased iPhone was that they say it is very difficult to breach it, right? But it was breached while I was there in UAE twice. It was breached twice. So it means anything is doable. So this is just a marketing gimmick from my side that, okay, Samsung is doing that, Apple is doing that. So in order to convince the customer, but it is very much doable, and we ourselves are forcing this information leak. So we need to be more cautious, and it is very difficult to break all the connect with all these platforms. Then we are lagging behind. So if you are to teach as educators, and if we do not know what are the answers that my students are getting from GPT, then I cannot perhaps catch them. If I've given them an assignment and then they are writing, then I should know if it is written by machine, if it is written by GPT, what is the pattern it is following.
Absolutely, sir.
So
yes.
we have to expose ourselves.
Okay. Very nicely answered, sir. If we see this right now, if we go through our message box, we found so many questions right now, but because we have very limited time, so we are not able to entertain each one of your questions. And sir, I am requesting you, can I share your email contact number with our audience after this session?
Yes,
so that
yes, for
whatever
sure.
queries they have, they can easily contact you directly. Many of
For
our
sure.
audience also want the DOI of your research paper, which you have shown. They
Yep.
want
So
to download the research paper. So, as far as this session is concerned, sir, each of the audience who is present right now, I'll assure you that if you want the contact or email ID, you can easily contact Dr. Manmohan Mishra, sir, or me also.
Sure.
We will surely share you the contact details so that you can ask your questions from Dr. Mohammad Anam Akhtar ji directly. Okay. So I'm handed over this session to the Kriti Malviya ma'am. But before that, Manmohan sir, can we proceed?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank
Kriti
you.
ma'am.
Thank
Okay,
Dr.
Kriti
Anand.
ma'am.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Kriti
you,
ma'am,
Rohit.
please
Thank you,
continue. Thank
Dr.
you, Anand
Manmohan,
sir.
and I've
Just wait
uploaded.
for a while, sir. Wait
Okay.
for a while, because Kriti ma'am has to say something about the
Oh, so
closing
sorry.
part. Okay.
So sorry,
And
Kriti.
anything you want to talk with Manmohan sir, you can easily talk right now. Just
So it is very nice to it is always very nice to see all my colleagues over there. So so we work over there not as only as educators. So it was a team. So it perhaps the best part of my life I've spent at UIM, first as a student, right? And Dr. Manmohan was there as a teacher for me as well, and then he's there as a elder brother. So then Ajay, Anshul, I think I can see Pretosh is also there. Right?
yes, Priyatosh sir is also there, sir.
So we work together as a team. And what I've done, I've also uploaded this
Yes, sir.
paper
Your
in the
paper
chat
has
box,
received. Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
so that people can. So it is very nice to meet all of you, even though on the online mode. But shortly I'll be visiting Allahabad in Diwali holidays. Then I'll be meeting all of you personally.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Anand. Thank you so much.
Yes, Kriti
Kriti,
ma'am, please.
would you like to say
No.
something?
Kriti ma'am, please unmute yourself. नहीं, मे बी शायद उनके पास ऑप्शन नहीं है. आई रिक्वेस्ट जस्ट अ मिनट. Yes, ma'am. Kriti ma'am, now you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Sir, can I,
Okay.
am I audible?
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, yes, you
Okay.
are.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the United Institute of Management and the Organizing Committee of this faculty development program, I extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker today, Dr. Mohammad Anam Akhtar, MBA, PhD, NIT, CMB, UK. Dr. Akhtar, your session today was nothing short of enlightening.
Technical issue from Kriti ma'am.
No worries, sir. So we are good. If there are any questions from the audience, then they can mail it to me, right? And I've also
Am I
shared.
audible, sir?
Yeah, you're
Yes,
audible, ma'am.
yes,
You're
yes,
audible.
you are.
But your
Okay,
voice
I
is
think there is some technical issue.
Oh.
Okay. Dr. Akhtar, your session today was nothing short of enlightening. With your vast experience in academia, financial analysis, and strategic education leadership, both in India and internationally, you brought exceptional depth and clarity to the theme of our FDP. Your insights into how digital communication and digital marketing strategies can reshape customer service in today's volatile economic landscape were not only timely. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay.
Audible.
Okay. Were not only timely, but extremely relevant for all of us. You seamlessly connected theoretical knowledge with real-world applications, helping us understand not just what needs to be done, but also how we can begin to incorporate these practices in our own academic and institutional frameworks. We are especially grateful for the way you made complex concepts approachable and engaging. Delivery kept and your engaging delivery kept all of us thoroughly involved throughout. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule and for generously sharing your knowledge and experience with us. Your contribution has truly elevated the quality of this FDP, and we always look forward to collaborating with you again and again. Wishing you continued success in your endeavors at the University of Southampton, Delhi, and beyond. With sincere thanks and warm regards, thank you once again, Dr. Akhtar sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So nice of you, ma'am. So I just once again I would like to say thank you to the team, organizing team. Thank you, Dr. Manmohan, Dr. Rohit, and like I said in the beginning, I'm always there. So this is more of a home for me. So anything in future, I'm always there. Anything that you want to like for me to chip in and contribute, I'm always there. This is what I owe to United Institute of Management always. Thank you. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now, this is the moment to get the audience ready for the next talk. It's a true privilege to introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today's Faculty Development Program, Session 2. We are incredibly fortunate to have with us a scholar and researcher of exceptional caliber, Professor Rameshwar Dubey sir. Professor Dubey holds a PhD and SDR from prestigious French universities and has a robust academic background. That includes a postdoctoral fellowship from SUSTEC in China. He is full professor and head of supply chain management at Montpellier Business School in France, and an honorary professor at Liverpool Business School, Liverpool John Moores University. He also holds an adjunct professorship at the Indian Institute of Management, Jammu. His prolific research and significant contributions to academia are reflected in his remarkable publication record. With an impressive H index of 79 on Google Scholar, 68 on Scopus, and 63 on Web Science, Professor Dubey has authored over 120 papers in top-tier journals with more than 38,000 Google Scholar citations. His expertise spans supply chain management, operations management, and business analytics, with a special focus on humanitarian operations, sustainable supply chains, and use of emerging technologies for disaster relief. His work has placed him among the top 1% of the most cited scholars globally. He is also a highly respected senior editor for the International Journal of Logistics Management and serves on the editorial boards of numerous other leading journals, including the International Journal of Information Management and the Journal of Humanitarian Logistics and Supply Chain Management. Professor Dubey's commitment to advancing scientific knowledge has been recognized with multiple awards and a special lifetime commitment title for his contributions to the field. Today, Professor Dubey will be sharing his expertise on our theme. Please join us in giving me a warm welcome to Professor Rameshwar Dubey. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So I think I'll thank you very much for the kind introduction. I'll take this opportunity to share my
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I just take an opportunity to present this. So please kindly let me know that, can you see this screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Professor, for giving an opportunity to have a deliberations, and I really thank to the United team for coordinating. It's an excellent effort made by each and every individual, and thank you, ma'am, for extensive introduction. I hope I'll be able to live up to the expectation that you have generated in the mind of every individuals. So I'm Rameshwar, and I'm in Montpellier in France, and it's quite lovely it's lovely evening. It's not evening, I would say it's an afternoon here. So I am continuing my session now. So the objective of the discussion, I think I understand this is a unique program which is meant for developing all kind of individuals, and I would like to take this opportunity to touch upon some of the critical aspects within customer relationship management. Now, customer relationship management is a very broad topic, and let me uh, clarify that I'm an individual who is not like who have done extensive research on CRM from the marketing perspective, but my contribution is towards information management and operations perspective. So CRM is a quite broad topic and it's essential, it's a very important, but I'll be touching upon the information management and other aspects which are very important. And that's why my topic is on CRM systems. So it's very important to understand what are the elements of CRM, which is critical for us to understand before we navigate through other aspects. It's very important to understand how does the CRM system works. What are the different types of CRM systems and the gap that exists between theory and practice, which is very important to understand. And I really want each one of you to have a conversation with me, because my objective of presentation is not to present, but to clarify most of the questions that you have in your mind. And the discussion, my presentation will be brief, but I expect all of you to ask a lot of questions. A question to an editor, because this is an opportunity for you to interact with the editors of international journal, because as you know that fortunately I'm sitting on the editorial board of ABTC A star and A category journals. And there are many people have a complaint that most of the developing countries individuals do complain that their papers are getting rejected. Probably these editors are biased, which I want to clarify that this is not such kind of things. It's our perceptions, and the perceptions need to be taken care of. So it's an opportunity for you to interact with the editor directly to understand that where are the loopholes, where are the problems that we encounter as a scholar, as an author, that we are not able to publish in top tier journal. There's no shortcut. It's only merit that counts here, and the way forward. So these are the dimensions that we need to understand: customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, profitability, customer retention, marketing, business reporting. Now, these are the broad areas which try to capture the overall fundamental of customer relationship management. And the most important aspect is, like, say, customer satisfaction. Now, how customer satisfaction is important? Well, there are a lot of empirical studies which has proven that customer satisfaction is key for the customer retention. In fact, when we talk about the market share, to an extent, customer satisfaction plays a significant role in determining the market share. So customer satisfaction is an indication of market share, which is very, very important. Most of you are following the news, and suddenly you must have come across a very interesting news that is floating, across all social media platform, is that suddenly the BYD has lost the market share a bit. Now the question is that how suddenly? Almost few months back, BYD was dominating, all across the globe, especially the European and the Chinese market. But suddenly you see that BYD has started facing challenges. The reason why suddenly BYD has experienced a significant dip in the market share, it's something that we need to investigate empirically, and there is a lot of insight that we can gain, which could be useful for other organizations, other companies, and other brands. So customer satisfaction is something which is very important. And we need to understand that customer satisfaction is a dynamic phenomenon. It's not something that we can hold on for a long time. It's not a static, it's a dynamic phenomenon. And we need to understand critically that customer satisfaction is something which is going to determine the market share of a firm. Customer loyalty. Customer loyalty is something that is attachment to a brand. And to what extent customer loyalty can be determined, it depends upon the company, the kind of offerings that they are making to the customers. So the quality is very important aspects. The speed and quality, these are the competitive priorities that are very important for any firm or any organizations. And that determines the customer loyalty to an extent, because a loyal customer will always try to, be attached to the customer. So customer loyalty is indirectly or directly related to customer retention, and that's something we have to understand. Profitability is the crux of everything, and that's why when you talk about return on investment framework, which is a DuPont framework also, and this is a very important aspect. Like ultimately, every organization is interested to understand the profitability or operating profit of a firm, which is sometimes expressed in terms of EBITDA, that is earning before interest, taxation, depreciation, amortization, which is very, very important framework. So when you talk about profitability, it depends upon two elements. Try to understand. Profitability depends upon two elements: total revenue and cost of goods sold. Now, when you talk about total revenue, it is a function of the quantity that you have sold, which is again depends upon the market share. So again, the quantity that you're selling, it depends upon the customer loyalty and customer satisfaction, and to an extent, in a long term, it is customer retention. And second component is price. So you can command a high price when you are able to, attract the loyalty of the customer. That means customer have a trust and the belief in the brand being offered by the company. So it's very important that the price, only under one circumstance the company can or organization can attract more price if they are able to satisfy the customer on a consistent period, on a consistent over a period, and then to an extent they have able to build the loyalty of the customer. That's why you have seen that in case of iPhone, Apple, they built a brand. Let's talk about Dell. Or when you talk within Indian context, if you talk about Tata, over a period, you see that customers are loyal towards this brand. So we need to understand that, what are the factors that determine the profitability. So price is definitely one of the elements. And second is the quantity that you sell. That is a market share. In the end, the cost of goods sold is something which is operational expenses, which is, I'm not going to touch upon that because that is beyond this scope of the conversation. But of course, cost of goods sold and the other dimension, that's called top line and bottom line. So when you say top line, that is the market share and the price. There's something which is a lot to do with the customer relationship management. To what extent you deal with your customer is something is very, very important. Now let's understand. Now there's another term called relation, and how relationship is very important. So relationship with your customer is critical for any organization, for any business, and that's why marketing is one of the way of it's a kind of communicating the strategies and everything with the customer, because the communication is very important with the customer. And sometimes what happens when, despite of having a very good product, but when company or when the organization fail to communicate the right message, it creates a kind of, a sense of detachment. And this is something which is not important. And that's why it's very important that your communication mix is very, very important and vital at this point of time, because this is a very important, essential element of trust. And that's why when we say marketing, it's better to talk about relationship marketing. And I think when I say relationship marketing, there is a seminal article by Morgan and Hunt in 1994, which was published in Journal of Marketing, which is the foundation of relationship marketing. And sometimes it is termed as trust and commitment theory, which I believe that, please take an opportunity to read this article, because the entire relationship marketing revolves around that article, which I will show. We'll take an opportunity to show that article. And business reporting, which is very important, because nowadays business reporting is becoming very, very important these days. And that's why I'm going to touch upon this, that how in the era of information technology can play an important role, and including generative AI and the AI, with the application of AI tool, how business reporting becomes very critical these days, because sometimes over-reliance on artificial intelligence is damaging the reputation of the company, and it has been reported in many instances. So use of AI, ethical use of AI, and legitimate use of AI is something that one need to recognize and one need to understand critically, because it sounds very easy that you can use generative AI, but at the same time, you also need to understand how do you control, how do you control the wordings actually, because wordings are going to determine the customer satisfaction, relationship with your customer. They critically depends upon the way you word, the way you phrase your message, which is very important. So these are the areas where those who are the marketing scholars, especially those who are engaged in customer relationship management, I suggest that these are the building blocks of customer relationship management. And if somebody wants to do good research, they want to specialize, I think you need to pick up one of the block and do research, because you can't pick up all the blocks, because you can't do. As a teacher, yes, you need to teach all aspects, but when you talk about doing a research, it's a micro level. You need to get into the details, micro details of each element. Otherwise, what happened, most of the research are turning out to be superficial without much value addition to the theoretical debate, which is going to be very important.
कोई नाटक तो नहीं करेंगे ये सब?
Can you please mute your voice, madam? Please, my request to all of you, mute your voice.
पैसा है और ये सब में क्या है कि कुछ है नहीं, और जब तक कुछ नहीं था
It's okay. So these are the three pillars of customer relationship management, and we need to understand the three dimensions. One is process. So technology, process, and strategy, these are very important. So when we say customer relationship management technology, we need to understand customer relationship process and strategy. And this is something which is very important. So we can say TPS. So we can say it's a TPS, that is a technology, process, and strategy. And that's very important element. So these are the three foundation, these are the three founding pillars of customer relationship management. So one hand, we need to talk about technology. And that's very important to focus on technology, like what kind of technology. And to be very precise, let me tell you one thing, customer relationship management, when we talk about, we need to mention about big data and predictive analytics. We need to talk about blockchain technology, which is a digital, which is a distributed ledger technology. We need to mention about artificial intelligence. And in the current scenario, we cannot, we need to acknowledge the role played by the generative artificial intelligence. So technology is very pivotal for the entire customer relationship management, because the way the customer are becoming complex, and with the with the Gen generation, that Gen Z, which we are commonly hearing for last few days, this community actually, they are more obsessed with the technology and social media, and that's why technology is very critical at this point in time. Now, talking about the process is very important to understand. What are the processes involved in managing customers? And it is a very, very, it includes like having a data, segregating the data, and then understanding each customer. So maintaining, knowing your customer, and until you don't know your customer, you will not be able to actually develop an appropriate strategy. Customer relationship management strategy is something which is very important. And how do you frame your strategy? What are the way? Like, so when you say strategy, we need to understand one thing: the term strategy has to be carefully understood, because when you say strategy, we talk about competitive advantage. So how customer relationship can be the source of competitive advantage? Because it's very established theory that the customer is going to determine the success of a company. So the more customers, the more loyal customers you have, you can actually, continue to dominate in the market. For example, there was a time when the Nokia had a huge customer base. Unfortunately, Nokia failed to, adapt to the customers, changing the needs of the customer. Because, when you deal with the various generation, your strategy has to change. And unfortunately, most of the companies could not keep the pace with the different generation. For example, there was a time when Philips used to enjoy a different kind of, a customer base. Similarly, what happened, HTMT, there was a HMT, sorry, there was a HMT, brand, and Tata, and now we can see that Apple and BYD, all these companies enjoy different kind of customer base, the way that the customers are like, but again you have to understand the customers' expectations and their the requirements keeps on changing, and that's very important for organization to understand deeply each of your customer. You have to maintain the profile, and you need to devise strategy according to the different segment, so that you can actually keep control, you can retain them, because this is something where most of the organizations have failed to work on this model. So these are the different types of CRM systems. So it can be classified into three broad categories: operations, analytical, and collaborative. When we say operational, we talk about Salesforce automations, marketing automation, and service automation. So these are the operational level. Now, when it comes to analytical perspective, where the role of big data and big data predictive analytics comes into picture. So for this, you need to have a data warehouse where you can store the data, you can extract the useful data, and then you can actually analyze those data, and which is very critical. So in current context, actually, because my real research actually contributes at this point, because I've been dealing with the analytical methods, like how to extract useful information related to customers, related to suppliers, and building appropriate strategies based on the information that is extracted from data. So it includes machine learning and machine learning algorithms. So far I have done, because my postdoctoral research was on machine learning and its application in extracting information in the context of the like it was a risk mitigation strategy. So I focused on how we can predict the disaster with the help of data. So this analytical actually, where especially nowadays most of the top management schools are running these programs in collaborative with the technological schools and engineering school, because this is the area where they need a lot of people. So one hand you need a marketing, you understand the domain understanding, the domain skill, which is marketing, customer relationship management. On one hand, you need to have a hands-on experience to the machine algorithms, which requires a computer science background. And the third, which requires a high level of optimization and statistical background. And that is the reason why you see the business analytics or big data predictive analytics, these kinds of programs are now becoming one of the important, because this runs in the intersection of social science, engineering, and mathematics, also statistics. So that's something where you need these kind of skills. Now, coming about the collaborative, collaborative something is very important. That how do you manage the channel and activity and various interaction with the various individuals. And this is where I talk about relationship marketing comes into the picture. So those who have had an opportunity to read a classical article by Morgan and Hearn 1994, which is the foundation of your relationship marketing, known as trust and commitment theory, which I would like to show. So before I navigate into each dimensions, let me share this article of the trust and commitment, which is the foundation of this particular the debate. So this is an article. Please, all of you can also note down this article. So Morgan and Hearn, this is very, very important article. This article was published in Journal of Marketing, and if somebody talks about relationship marketing, and if they don't know, that means they haven't gone through the real theory. So this is a very powerful theory which explains this is the foundation of relationship marketing. So I'll take you to this model, and when you say relationship marketing, you can say that their buyer, supplier, internal partners, and the lateral partners all are involved actually. So it's a complex phenomena. So let's look into this model. So it's very important to understand that trust is a very important element, and trust leads to the commitment. So if any customer who's actually getting engaged with a particular brand, we need to understand that commitment is very important. So how do you build commitment in the customers, which ultimately result in the cooperation? Cooperation is very important, and it's not only the cooperation with your customer and the focal firm and partners within partners also is very important. So there are two elements actually. So when you're talking about customer relationship management, customer is also a partner, and that is something where you have to understand, because if you talk about the Larsen and Toubro model, they treat customer as their partner. This is something which you have to understand. They treat their suppliers also a partner. So you have to understand in B2B context, like in B2B marketing. So you're the fundamental changes from B2B to B2C. So it depends upon, if you're talking about B2B, customer is also a partner, which is something very important. So in the context of B2B, like especially industrial marketing, where trust, commitment, and cooperations are essential elements. And that's something we have to understand, that what are the factors that helps to enhance the trust, because trust is the first and important foundation stone of your customer relationship management. So it's very important that you have to share the values. Until you don't share the values, it's very difficult actually. Number two, communication, and that's why you must have seen that marketing mix and communication mix. So within the fundamentals of marketing, people talk about communication mix. How do you communicate the message with your customer? Very, very important, because that helps to build a trust. On the other side, you need to minimize your opportunistic behavior, because there are some firms which are trying to gain the advantage out of it. Well, you can survive for a short term, but in long term you'll never be able to win, because it's very important to minimize your opportunistic behavior. So whenever, like within the partners, like working together for a common goal, it is very important to minimize the opportunistic behavior. Even sometimes the company's behavior towards customers, they are also opportunistic. This, they need to understand that you cannot actually make fool of your customers on a long-term basis. That's why you have to be very cautious and need to minimize your opportunistic behavior, which is very, very important. On the other side, the commitment, the relationship commitment, depends upon the relationship termination cost. If I shift my loyalty, now it's very challenging. Now customer also asks one question, that if I switch my loyalty from one brand to another brand, what is the termination cost? And that's something which customer always think over multiple times. Of course, Gen Z, just this generation, actually they are very quick in making such kind of decisions, but there are generation which actually takes some time in order to before deciding. So again, depending upon the various generation, and that's why the role of generation, I think has got a very important role to understand to what extent the relationship commitment theory holds good in the case of generation. Benefits of the relationship, to what extent, but however, like the partners working together, which is called collaborative. So when the channel partners are working together for a common goal, in that case relationship benefits are very important, especially for those industry which are dealing the durable goods, or like cement industry or steel industry, where like CNF agents and the focal firms, how do they cooperate and collaborate in order to enhance the customer satisfaction and retain the customer? That's something where you can actually work in that. So relationship benefit is very, very important, and you have to see that if there is a benefit between two partners, I think the commitment is going to be very high. So it's very important that one organization need to think about the benefits of their partners. Otherwise, this relationship is not going to survive for a long term. So as you know that if the trust and the commitment both are high, there will be a high level of cooperation or collaboration, which is the essential element of the theory. So I was trying to explain this particular model. So how does collaboration works? You can easily understand using this trust commitment theory by Morgan and Hunt, 1994. How do you interact, how do you manage your channel partners, what are the activities that you need to perform in order to maintain the transparency and better coordination and cooperation among each other. So these are very important, and of course documentation is very important, and that's why you must have it started with SAP R/3 architecture, and now we can see that the various way of managing the real-time data. That's something which is very important. Now question comes that what are the gaps between theory and practice? So as a scholar, those who are doing research, I'm not a customer relationship management scholar, but being an editor, International Journal of Information Management, I come across a lot of articles, especially the role of information management in tackling customer relationship management. I handle, every year I handle more than 50 to 60 articles. And before I find out the reviewers, or before I make my decision whether I should just reject or should I continue with the review process, I have to read a lot. So I have to read, I have to maintain the note. That's something which I have to do. We can't afford to, without reading the manuscript, I cannot find out the reviewer. So it's very important. And over the years, I have realized that, based on the reviewers' comment, when we read the comments of the reviewers, we understand that there are three areas where still the customer relationship management research is still lacking, actually. And that's why it is very important to understand. What are those three areas which I have identified? Still, most of the research doesn't talk about missing trust, because when I told you that in case of like industrial marketing, B2B, the trust component is very, very important. Even in case of B2C, the trust is something which is very cognitive phenomena. And how do you explain and define trust in B2B and B2C? They requires a different kind of treatment and different kind of arguments. So it's very important to understand that trust is a very broad term, and trust is something which is the foundation of your customer relationship management field or relationship marketing. Unfortunately, this element has not been discussed and theoretically examined properly. So there is a huge opportunity, especially for the scholars or PhD scholars or the professors who are engaged in this kind of research, where they really can work on expanding the theoretical boundary of trust, which is still missing. Collaboration. It is well understood that most of the time this initiatives fails because of the poor collaboration. When the partners have failed to collaborate, or when the customers and the focal firms have failed to collaborate, there is a result. So the question that comes, okay, we have understood that the collaboration was missing. How to tackle this? How to enhance the collaboration? And this is something which is very challenging and very important perspective, because okay, there is a understanding, common understanding. Okay, build a trust. Now, question arises: how do you build a trust? Under what circumstances you see collaboration? And collaboration is something which is very challenging, because then you have a vertical collaboration and horizontal collaboration. So within different organizations, different setting, it's very important to understand. And to an extent, it's very challenging, especially when you are working and operating in a highly multicultural environment. That's why the role of national culture theory comes into the picture in understanding the collaboration, because hostile cultural dimension, and there are multiple theories on national culture which can contribute to the debate. And I think this is the topic where I believe a lot of work to be done. In fact, Dyer and Singh, 1998, a very seminal work on relational view, where it is understood that how relationship can be the source of competitive advantage. So collaboration is the area where a lot of research still missing. A lot of articles have been published so far, but to an extent, I'll tell you, they are repetitive, and there is not much theoretical advancement. So as an editor, as a reviewer, I have felt that that people are just trying to just repeat the same stuff, but the value addition is minimum, and the quality of the theoretical debate and the arguments, I think those who are engaged in qualitative research, especially case-based research, or trying to involved in inductive theory, I think there is an opportunity for them to contribute to this understanding of collaboration and alignment. Now, alignment among the partners is a critical question which is not well answered by the marketing community. How to build the alignment? Alignment is a very important aspect, because your success, your entire collaboration, and this alignment is not to do with only suppliers, but even IT. I don't know how many of you have read the article. I've just shared a very interesting article, published in a ABDC A stars category journal called Decision Support System. And you can see that there's a very interesting article, IT alignment strategies for customer relationship management. I suggest all of you to please read this article. If you don't know about decision support system, let me tell you one thing: is the ABDC A-Star journal, very top journal. It's a basket 12 journal within the field of information management. And touching upon this element called this gap, so I felt that why not I share this article. There's another article which I felt that I should explain. That's called, this is again information management journal, which is again a top ABTC A-Star journal within operations management, exploring the role of customer relationship management systems in customer knowledge creation. This is what so my debate, my discussion is revolving around this article. I would be very happy if you people read this article, and of course you can actually take an opportunity to ask question at any point of time. But the question is that don't be the passive learner, be an active learner. And within our university, like, we don't teach actually from the slide, we teach from the research article. That is the culture within the European system. So this is what we follow actually. So since I believe in this philosophy, I am sharing the same thing. Then there's another article which I felt that I should share with you. It's about artificial intelligence and customer relationship. As I was mentioning, that how generative AI can help to build a customer relationship management. And this is another article which I've shared. So all of you have this article with you all, and this was published in Journal of Business and Industrial Marketing, which was, as I told you, that there are two streams of literature. One is B2B and one is B2C. So when you say business, when you say industrial marketing, then we are referring to B2B. So this is one. And if you really want to understand that how the customer relationship management has evolved, so this is a very interesting article: customer relationship management theory and future research in the new millennium. This is something which is, so I think it's going to provide you something good overview. Well, this is something. So I hope I was able to generate some interest, but my objective of the discussion is actually not to to sensitize the topic, but I want to encourage all of you to ask many questions to me, because the objective, we can only achieve when we have a lot of questions. So one by one, I'm ready to take all of your questions, and I would be happy to answer your critical questions. Anybody have any questions for me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So, yeah, please, do you have any questions? So raise your hands, and I think yeah, please. Yes, Shalini ma'am, can I have your question, please? Okay. Can you speak now? I think, can you, organizer, can you allow the each participant to speak, so that it will be very easy to have a better conversation? Can you come and ask? Okay, like, well, madam, let me tell. Thank you very much. There is a question that what are the one by one? Let me take the question. First question: that what are the challenges in building trust and customer relationship and digital era? A very good question. See, Our theory, you have to understand the trust commitment. Just keep the trust commitment, framework in front of you. It's a very question. Whether it's a digital or whichever era, we have to understand that what are the challenges that we encounter actually today, especially in the digital era. When you say that opportunistic behavior is actually one of the major reason why the trust we could not cultivate the trust between the two partners is the opportunistic behavior. Like suppose we talk about the partners working for a common goal, each of them, they're working for their own benefits actually. And when the selfish approach of any individual, let's talk about the Volkswagen and BYD case. Volkswagen was doing their business in China, and for quite some time, actually, they are dominating in the entire Chinese market. And BYD, once upon a time, was the supplier of the battery. So they were supplying battery to automotive industry. They were actually supplying to mobile sector. So they were manufacturing all kind of batteries. So there was a time when they realized that why not they enter into the automotive industry, and especially when the electric vehicles started, gaining momentum actually quite some time back. So BYD sensed the opportunity. Now BYD was once upon a time with a partner for other companies. They sensed the market opportunity and they started their own business. And now you can see that BYD is one of the leading, leading manufacturer of cars within the electric vehicle segment. And not only that leading manufacturer, but they are also a dominating player within the German auto market. For the first time in the history, when BYD replaced Volkswagen in Munich market, it's surprising. So these kind of instances, in fact, in the past also, we have seen that there was a Tractors India Limited, which was once upon a time the channel partner for the Caterpillar. And now you see that Tractors India Limited have started manufacturing their own earth movers. So in past, there are many instances we have seen that when channel partners actually turned out to be the focal organization. And that is the reason still, despite of like this, there is a mistrust. That means like whether we should share the technology or not. And until you don't share the technology or the blueprint, you cannot actually build that trust, because still there is a fear that that technology can be, can be used or can be adopted. That's why you've seen that in some sectors, especially automotive sector, or in case of jet manufacturing, or you can say, aircraft manufacturing, still building trust is a very challenging. And especially in other sectors also, especially like in digital era, where like there is a high probability of like information being leaked out. And that's why today organizations are very much relying upon or encouraging the organization to have a blockchain technology enabled solution, because blockchain technology enabled solution help you to minimize that kind of leakage of the information, or the informations cannot be manipulated or cannot be, without involving every partners into the conversation or the main discussion. So these are the challenges, specific challenges they're facing. And of course, companies are coming out with some of the digital enabled solutions like blockchain technology enabled solution, but still, despite of like solution exists there, the execution is a big challenge. So I don't know how many of the organizations, but still, during one of my research, I found that blockchain technology is still in the early stage in many firms actually, and blockchain technology still not is used as a like end-to-end solution within the industry. I hope my answer to the first question is clear. Okay. See, what are the customer retention strategies? See, that is very important. Like, how do you retain your customer? Number one thing that we have to understand that innovation is the best way. Because remember one thing, that customer, don't expect that generation will be, loyal to you for a long time. That's something we have to understand. So it's very important for the company to, innovate and come out with a new product, new offerings, which other companies are not able to offer. It's challenging, but innovation is the only way For example, let me talk about uh, in case of like, in war industry, we have seen that like, some of the defense product actually being manufactured by US, they still have a competitive edge over the others. So it's very important to understand that you have to innovate in some of the technology. Now it depends upon what kind of products you're dealing with. So if you're dealing with the high end products, innovation is very important. But when you're dealing with the like customized product or lower end product, in that case your product offerings and the price is very important. And in that case, you see Chinese as a Chinese manufacturer, they focus more on the price because they know that like developing countries market or African region markets and some part of the European markets where the customers are very price sensitive and they have that kind of product. At the same time, they also have a product for American customers or the Canadian customers who are not that much price sensitive. So they have different kind of products depending upon the different types of market, and that's way they have wide, big offerings. They have a huge product offerings in a way that they can actually retain the loyalty of the customer. So these are the very important aspect. Like price is very important. Number two is that offerings, and that's why the product offerings and the technology that they offer are unique in many ways that help the customer to be the loyal, and they help to retain the customer to an extent. Well, these are the research actually. And when you talk about predictive analytics is something which is a very important aspect. As I told you that the critical aspect lies in like input and output. So we have to understand that what kind of data we have actually, and the data cleaning is something which is very important. And for this, despite of existing machine algorithms, like a lot of work is going on to develop a better machine algorithm so that they can minimize the noise and can extract useful information that is very useful for making some of the decision. So like especially for the companies having a huge customer, identifying the potential customers and maintaining and retaining them is very critical challenge. So today in the age of like data analytics and especially machine algorithm driven decision making has helped the company to narrow down with the list of the potential customers who have been loyal and how to take care of their specific needs and reach out to them, get their feedback, constantly take the input. For example, I'll tell you, uh, Air France actually. Air France is especially very when it comes to like customer relationship management, the number one brand that comes to my mind is Air France actually. Those who travel by Air France, they cannot switch their loyalty to other brand because they 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 really take care of the customers. And even if I've seen in many instances, I have missed my flight due to any reason, they have, without taking extra charge, they have arranged the second flight for me immediately the same day. So that's how they work actually, which is unfortunate you don't see in case of Air India or any other thing. So sometimes I believe that if somebody is talking about predictive analytics and CRM, I feel that Air France is one of the excellent case. There are many other brands, but I personally have experienced the service of the Air France and the way they take care of your needs. That's something which is very important. There was another question. I felt that yes, that you're talking about ISM and fuzzy micmac. Well, to be very sorry, I'm telling you, this is a desk-based method, and we don't accept ISM and fuzzy micmac paper in the grade A or A star journal because these methods are they lack the validity, and the validity of these methods are not established actually. So when you talk about any method, actually, you need to understand reliability and validity. So if you're using interpretive structural modeling of fuzzy micmac, actually, the problem with this method is that it 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 based on small data sample size. Number two, the construct validity of this method is questionable. So when any method which doesn't satisfy both reliability and validity criteria, it's very difficult to actually move further. So this method is a useful tool, especially to develop a model, especially when the literature is not well developed, or when the relationship among the constructs are not well defined, it is good for that level of work. But there was a time when people used to publish their articles, but as an editor, I don't accept this kind of paper, and not me. No European and Americans editors would accept this kind of paper, and that's the reason you see that you'll never find any article got published on ISM and Fuzzy McBack in European Journal of Marketing, or Journal of Marketing Research, or Journal of Marketing, or Journal of Consumer Research. You'll never find this kind of article getting published. Okay, in ABDC category journals, well, this is fine. It can get published there, but not in a good journal. What are the challenges? Okay, so anything like, what are the major determinants of successful customer relationship that contributes to the business success and synergy? Well, this is a very big question. Like, what are the major determinants customer relationship management? As I told you, these are the building blocks of the customer relationship management, which I shared. Those blocks are very important. And especially like managing the customer database in current scenario is very, very important. So extracting the useful information from the database is another challenge. So I think I don't have a straightforward answer, to be very precise. Let me tell you one thing. As a scholar, I need to debate, because there are conditions, there are situations where methods are applied. So you can't say that one method can fit well in every situation. One method doesn't fit well, and it will be very hard to answer this question. It's similar to a question that whether you define an electron as a particle or it's a wave. And that led to the Schrödinger wave theory equations. So it's not that easy to answer this question. It's very challenging. Of course, it's required a lot of debate and discussion. So you people have to do a lot of research on that, read a lot of good articles, go in depth, understand the gaps, and then I'm sure that you'll be able to understand. But yes, this is a very nice question, very interesting question. If anybody who's really doing research, they can pursue their doctorate in this particular field of research topic, Yes. Anybody have any questions? I think there are the respondents who want to be unmuted. Can you unmute them so that they can ask question, please? Anybody have any question? Okay, there's a one question that what qualities do you look for in a manuscript before sending for peer review? It's a very good question. It depends upon the nature of the journal that you're submitting, actually. So if you're submitting to a top journal, the most important thing is that, first of all, this article that should match with the scope of the journal. If it is information management journal, so you has to understand that it contributes to the information management theory. Of course, when I say information management, it is an interdisciplinary field, because information management is a field which is covering the spectrum of marketing, HR, operations, finance. So information management is now an established field which is interrelated to every discipline. So you cannot imagine any discipline or any field of research without information management integration. So first of all, it's very important to understand that to what extent the information management theory has been, expanded. It's not just using a theory. You have to expand, number one. Number two, contribution to theory is very important. So contribution of theory and practice, and that's why, ideally speaking, we judge the manuscript based on the introduction section, and we judge the manuscript based on the discussion. We look for an extensive discussion section. Unfortunately, most of the people actually they focus more on the data analytics tool. Well, let me tell you one thing: there's until unless there is nothing innovation data analytics, because we all know that you are using SEM tool or you're using a well-established statistical software. Your contribution is not to the data analytics, rather than your contribution is the data that you gather. That's called research design. So, of course, your robust research design is very important. And secondly, the robust statistical test that you conduct actually, after you have tested your hypothesis, that is very important to ensure that whether the method that you have adopted can yield result in every different conditions in different scenarios. So robustness is very important. During discussion, we look for 4 different subsections. Number 1, implications for theory should be well discussed. Number 2, implications of the practice. Number 3, implications for the policy. And the 4th is limitations of your study and the future research direction. And all these sections should be discussed elaborately. That's going to define the core of your paper. So we generally believe that introduction section and discussion section should be contributing nearly 50% of your paper length. When you are dealing with when you're writing an empirical paper, avoid literature review section, because literature review is a repetitive, because without appropriate literature review, you cannot write your introduction section. So in the introduction section, it is very important to have your research gaps followed by research questions, and then how do you tackle your research questions, and your philosophical assumptions need to be explained within the introduction section. These are very critical actually. So I think the only way to understand what kind of product that I'm supposed to develop is you have to read articles from the top journals on a consistent basis, because that's something which is very important. And of course, your writing and the way you build storytelling is something which is very important. These are the fundamental elements that we look for any good manuscript. And then if we find that, okay, there is a chance that this manuscript can survive the review process, we generally send it to the review. I hope I've been able to explain this, but the best way to learn is that please go read this good journals, and then you can understand what kind of the level that the people are expecting the kind of products. Anybody have any question, please? Okay, you want the good research article on CRM. I've already provided 4, and I will provide another 20 if you want. So I'll talk to the sir that, and I'll send him to a couple of articles. In fact, a list of 20-25 articles I'll send, so all of you can get these articles. Okay, so that won't be the problem. But can you ask questions? I just want to hear the voice. It looks like that it's a one-way discussion is going on. Now, there's a question. There's a question that what are the best practices to get maximum benefit from customer relationship systems? Number 1 is to rely on your data storage. Actually, how do you store your data? Number 2, how scientifically, how economically can extract the data, from that data warehouse, so that you can use for the further cleaning, so that through machine algorithm you can extract useful information. There was an article which we have done actually, and I'll share the code with you all, so then you have a better understanding. So we have developed similar kind of research with our team. Just hold on. I have another one topic, like I'll show you this. there was one study, like, based on, it's about customer relationship only. I'll share this article with all of you. This is our work actually based on automotive sector. It's about designing of the product actually. So product development, social media and sense making patterns and new product development, demystifying the customer sentiment. So this was the model for the new product development, actually how. So this is how we have developed actually, like we have used social media data to analyze. So we have also shared this, our code actually. So you can also use this code. This code. So this is how we have raw data, and we use this code actually. So this is how we have used this. So this is Python codes. So this is how we collected the Twitter data. So with the help of Twitter data, we have developed the final product actually. So this is how. So what are the features that a customer is looking in a car? So this is how we got it through the Twitter data, like, like while designing a new product, what are the things? So style, performance, configuration, and service. So this is how we have developed the model using the tweet analytics. So this is how we can, do meaningful work actually. So this is how you can actually take the insight from the customer. So most of the times we don't have enough capability to, use the uh, customer data like streets, like actually, so like social media data. So with the help of social media data, we extracted the useful information and developed this model. So you can actually refer this article. This is the title of the article, which was published in Annals Operation Research. It was first published in the 29th August 2020, because this was the work very long time. So Mialis, myself, Shishian, Constantina, and Thanos, we all have worked together. So this is our student project actually, from University of Warwick actually. So this is how we have done. So this is how we have done. So if you really want, actually, I can really provide more insight, but all the codes are there. So if somebody want to use the code for their own purpose, they are most welcome, because it is already published work. So I don't see any problem in that. Yeah. So this is how I wanted to explain that, like, companies can keep their CRM data clean and accurate. So these algorithms are there. So thank you very much for asking this question, because this is my area of research where I deal with the machine learning application of the data. Anybody have any questions? Do you need any questions? Anybody have any queries for me? For me, actually, any questions further?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir,
Hello.
can you hear me? Actually, I can see your screen. It is 29 messages unread, and I have
Okay.
already asked the question.
Okay.
Sir, my question was,
Okay.
so if I am new to the research field and if I want to publish a paper on Springer, so how we can start with the complete process? Because nowadays UGC care list is also not available. So they all are asking for international conferences, and for writing into a Scopus and Springer, it took a lot of effort. So being new into this field, how we can start with writing a good research paper?
Ma'am, first of all, let me tell you one thing. Research, it's a very good question you've asked, actually. And this is the question that we have been facing a lot of challenges. Dr. Manmohan Mishra is there, and he can actually tell you that even I didn't publish my grade B paper also, even during my PhD journey. And sometimes I feel that how people can publish, very fast. Publishing takes its own time. And during my early stage of the struggle, I learned a couple of things that most of the people don't understand. Publication is a research output. So first you have to do research, then you will have an output actually. Okay, publication is one form of the output. So first of all, we have to understand that a research means literally actually I have to identify a topic. And in that topic, actually, I have to identify the best papers, and especially what kind of article should I read and what kind of article should I exclude. This is something where you need support and guidance from a seasoned scholar in that field. Because I myself realized that during my doctoral journey, um, when I completed my PhD, I felt very bad actually after completion of PhD. I didn't have a single A category publication. So although I was shortlisted and I am Bangalore for the faculty interview, but I was brutally, bruised because I didn't had a good publication at that point of time. And then I felt that for the first time that somehow my doctoral research is not enough actually. So after like spending a couple of years, then I did my two postdoc actually. One I went to Chicago and Dartmouth, and then I went to China, Sustek. And during a postdoctoral journey, I realized that research is very different the way we do actually here, because unfortunately 99.99% of the PhD degrees awarded in India as a terminal degree which qualify you to apply for assistant professor position in any of the universities. That is not research actually. That is what I have understood actually. That is not a research. Research is all about complete debate. It's a journey actually, and it's a journey which starts from reading actually. And first 2-3 years you only have to read, and every time when you read actually you need to discuss with your mentor. You have to debate, you have to discuss, and then you identify the gaps. So once you identify the research gaps, that will lead to your research questions. So once you frame your research question, then you decide what kind of methodology you're going to use. You know what's the problem nowadays? People first have a methodology in their mind, they have tools in their mind, and now they're trying to fit their research problems into that model. And what happened? Even they are getting a paper, but those papers are not getting published in good journal. See, the problem in India is actually, as you rightly mentioned, that UGC is creating a press. Unfortunately, that is the reason why we are producing mass level of publication. But if you see the quantity of A and A star, very low. On the other side, within our university, European, even if the student publishes one paper or two paper, but they are minimum A category. Like in our universities, like in France, publishing in B category is considered as a crime actually. So it's A and A star. Even in A actually, that's not enough. So until you don't publish in A star, generally people don't get PhD degree. Or publication not mandatory for a PhD. we are very clear. We say that don't worry, complete your PhD, go and join as a postdoc. Don't hold yourself. We don't hold a student just because they don't have publication. And even UGC has realized, and that's why UGC has removed that condition of publications for your PhD award. It is these particular universities who have not upgraded their documents, and that's why still they are putting pressure on the students to publish. What we believe, either you publish in a good journal or don't publish. Don't publish in a low rank journal, because publishing in a low rank journal will damage you a lot. First of all, the editors are not qualified enough to handle those papers. Secondly, they don't get a good reviewers. So when you say Springer, don't say Springer. Springer is a publishing house. This is the misinformation many people have. Every journals of Springers are not good. That's very important. There is a list called ABDC, that's called Australian Business Dean Council, which is followed within the Indian Business School. Please find the ABDC list and search within your own field which are the B category journal, or at least A or A star category. But when you're reading, actually, you have to prioritize your reading. So read only from A star and A category. If you don't read from A star and A category, your theoretical debate or literature will be that very weak, actually. And then after doing your research, you start writing. So when you, from one research, you will be able to publish 3 good articles. The first article will be conceptual article. Second article will be, hypothesis driven. And of course, all hypotheses cannot be addressed in one research article. So I believe that generally maximum from one good research, you can get 3 good articles, but those 3 good articles will be published in a top journal. That's the how approach should be there. So don't be in hurry, don't be in haste, because even if you publish, actually, you can make your boss happy, but it will have no impact, actually. That's something very important. And that's why many people crib that many people have published 100 articles, 50 articles, but look at the citations. Nobody cares, nobody read, nobody cite. And that's why impact of your paper is more important. I hope I'm able to explain, and thank you very much for asking this question, because it is applicable for everyone. Because unfortunately, the publishing is a very common term, but less understood. And I think there's a lot of clarity is needed on this front. Anybody have any question? Actually, there are so many questions on chat box, but I think I'm not able to. Okay. If there are questions which I missed out, I'm not. Okay. How many companies? Participant, if there's any query, you may ask this. Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions so far? I think there are many questions, but there's some repetitive. Okay. So I think we are coming to the close of the session, actually, and I understand there are a lot of questions. If you have, I'll send my PPT, which is one of the queries. So I will send my PPT, but I think I've shared my PPT and reading materials with the organizing team, and I think they will share with you all. So I don't see any problem in that. If you have any questions, I know you will only have questions when you read, actually. So at this point in time, you can ask fundamental question, but real question only comes when you read and read and read, because that's the only way we believe that can really advance the theoretical debate. I'm sorry, I'm a bit like classical. If you ask one question, I'll give you 10 articles to read, because that's the way we teach, actually, here. Okay, so do you have any questions? Anybody can ask questions, 1 or 2. I can take 2 questions now. I request, the organizer to allow 2 individual to ask questions so that, I can answer their questions. Well, it's a very good question. I know I'm again building upon question of Springer. See, Springer, Elsevier, Taylor Francis, Emerald, these are publishing house. Every publishing house have got a A-star journal also, have got a C category journal also. So you can't say that, all the paper published in Springer, they are very good. You can't say like that, okay? So you have to be very, you have to refer to the ABDC list, and then you have to identify which are the potential top journals in that field. And I think based on that, you can build. So I understand, I think many of you have lost the energy now. So whenever you have any questions, you can always ask. I'm always available. And thank you, Mr. Sir. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. I think many of the participants are not used to this kind of style, but I think they will slowly will adapt. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over to Kirti ma'am. Kirti ma'am, would like to say something? Kirti ma'am.
Ma'am, you need to
Malviya.
unmute yourself. Yeah.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. Okay, audible, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As we conclude this session of ours, Enriching Faculty Development Program, it's my honor to extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Rameshwar Dubey, sir. Sir, your session was nothing short of brilliant. The insights you shared were grounded in a profound understanding of customer relationship management in the realm of today's dynamic economic environment. You masterfully highlighted how these strategies are no longer just an option, but a critical necessity for elevating customer service. Your expertise and passion for the subject were evident throughout your talk, and you provided us all with valuable, actionable knowledge that we can integrate into our own research, teaching, and professional practices. We are especially grateful for the time you took from your incredibly busy schedule to be with us today and share your exclusive knowledge and experience. We thank you for making this program so impactful. We sincerely hope to have the opportunity to collaborate with you very soon in future. Thank you once again, sir, for an inspiring and insightful session. We wish you all the best in your continued academic endeavors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And bye.
Bye.
Now, what an engaging and informative today's sessions provided us with practical tools and a deeper understanding of how to build an online presence that resonates with customers. We are halfway through our program's initial phase, and the momentum is incredible. For 2 more enriching sessions, please join us tomorrow. Until then, have a good night. Also, do not forget to share your feedback for both the sessions today. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kirti ma'am, and requested to all the participants kindly fill the attendance so that we can update your attendance in daily basis. Thank you and good night, and we will again meet you tomorrow evening 6 p.m. Thank you and good night to all of you.